I started the Big Walk the year after I came to the Gallatin School. I'm an architect and a professor of architecture. For me, it was about bringing my curiosity to the city I know very well and love, because there's always things to learn and find out. So the public art program in New York City comes through a lot of different city agencies, and this one was the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs that asked for 25 temporary art installations, and sculptor Tony Rosenthal proposed a little maquette, a little model, and then had it cast in Corten steel, is what we're seeing behind us.
Webster Hall is really one of the most iconic sites in New York City. It hosted the founding of the Amalgamated Clothing Workers in 1914, and it really became ultimately a meeting place and venue for the area's gay and lesbian community.
This opened as a music venue in 1960, and before it was just a restaurant known as Gertie's that occasionally had live performances.
Dylan took songs from Judy Collins, from Carolyn Hester, and Joan Baez notably. He was really good friends with the few women who were involved in the folk scene. And one thing Mike Porco did was give women musicians, women folk singers, a forum in what was largely at that time a guy's world.
Michael Dinwiddie was a long time and really extraordinary professor at the Gallatin School who was a theater historian. One day, he was walking around this neighborhood and found a tiny little plaque that spoke to the fact that the African Grove Theater had been established on this site.
I'm sure all of you alumni remember coming out here when it was time for you to graduate in your beautiful purple robes to take your pictures. But I always think about a woman named Rose Butler, who in 1827 was executed right here where the fountain stands. My hope is that in this Big Walk, that one of the things you'll take with you is just to remember that she was here, to remember that slavery existed here, to remember that when we walk here, we're walking in a flow of things that included both the desire to be free and the activities against that freedom.
We are in what? Minetta Creek. It's a natural exit point from inside the earth where groundwater emerges from an aquifer. The construction of Jimi Hendrix's Electric Lady Studios, already mentioned today, on 8th Street, was delayed due to the flooding from Minetta Creek.
We are talking about the Ash Building, which was previously the shirtwaist factory. A blaze broke out on all of the floors, effectively killing 146 workers. Labor unions like the International Ladies Garment Workers Union gained momentum, demanding safer conditions, fair pay, and dignity for workers. But equally important was how the tragedy reshaped building code enforcement.
The life of a musician who was part of the downtown sphere in the late 50s, 60s, 70s, and onward meant going back and forth along this street and playing various kinds of places.
We're kind of thinking about how the venues of the village allowed for that very small, intimate, yet intense feel. You know, in a way, you can kind of think about these spaces as a momentary community where everyone gathers around a sound.
This is part of the Greenwich Village Historic District. People work very, very hard to preserve the quality, but also the physical environment of this neighborhood.
It speaks to the way in which the founders of Gallatin knew that for university education to be meaningful, it had to be in partnership with the world outside the walls of the university.